Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome to Let's Play Yoshi's Woolly World. Released in 2015 for the Nintendo Wii U and then later released in 2017 on the Nintendo 3DS, Yoshi's Woolly World is considered to be one of the best Yoshi games in a very long time. People really enjoy Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo and hold that in a very high standard for the series. That is a lot of people's favorite Yoshi game. But Yoshi's Woolly World is a very close contender. It's that good of a game to a lot of fans. This is one of my favorite games in the Yoshi series. I played Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo, and I could see a lot of the similarities between that game and Woolly World here on the Wii U and 3DS. So, I'm really going to enjoy this Let's Play. This is a really fun and solid game, and the yarn aesthetic here, as you can see with just the title screen, this isn't just a visual thing. The yarn does have a gameplay difference as well, so we'll be seeing that once we jump into the game itself. But for now, let's just go ahead and hit the A button to go ahead and select our file. Now normally this isn't something I would actually make a big deal over, but the file you actually start with in this game does actually affect your starting Yoshi. If you pick file number 1, you start off with the green Yoshi. If you pick file number 2, you start off with a pink Yoshi. And if you pick file number 3, you start off with a light blue Yoshi. So you have a choice here which color Yoshi you want to start with, which is a pretty nice touch. I'm going to go ahead and pick file number 1 because I like the green Yoshi. It's my favorite out of these three designs. As soon as you pick your file, you have a preferred game mode you can go ahead and pick. Classic mode is just your traditional platformer, so there's nothing very special about this one, but mellow mode on the other hand, this is basically the easy mode of the game. Yoshi has wings, so he basically has an infinite flutter. And he gets a lot more hearts, which is the health in this game, and I'll be showing mellow mode off later on, but for now, we're just going to be playing this in classic mode. We're going to be playing this in its hardest difficulty setting. You can go ahead and switch modes whenever you want in the game, but we're just going to be sticking with classic mode for this playthrough. We can go ahead and change our control style here. I like to use the B style, and I like to use hasty, so these are just some of the things you can go ahead and do. If you're using a Wiimote, you can go ahead and turn on the tilt option, which allows you to use motion controls to also aim your eggs, but I'm going to go ahead and play with a Wii Classic controller. It's my preferred kind of controller for this game. So let's just go ahead and jump into the game. Welcome to Craft Island, a tiny place in the middle of the handmade ocean. Life here for the Yoshi clan is nothing but peaceful and leisurely. Or rather, it had been nothing but peaceful and leisurely until... Hello, little Yoshis! Sorry to drop in so suddenly, but I need to turn you all into yarn. Thanks! Ah! At this rate, I'll be here through lunch. Come on, I'm busy. Everyone becomes yarn. There! This should be plenty. Well, I better get back. Toodles! That's quite enough. I had it with you annoying Yoshis. There's still hope. As Kamek flies away, he drops a handful of yarn. A rather important Yoshi meeting is held. What do we do to save the others? We need to get that yarn back. Hurry! After that naughty trickster! And so, another grand Yoshi adventure begins. Will they be able to knit their friends back together? Onward, Yoshis! So starting off here, I want to go ahead and mention that was the opening for the Wii U version. The opening for the 3DS version is slightly different. It basically plays out the exact same way as the Wii U version, but there is some extra dialogue because the 3DS version in particular focuses a lot on Poochie, Yoshi's companion in the Yoshi series. So basically it does play out very similar to this one, but they do add in some Poochie stuff at the end just to kind of give the Poochie in Yoshi's Woolly World title more of a meaning at the end of the day. So right now, as you can see when we're watching the opening here for the 3DS version of Yoshi's Woolly World, you can also tell that the presentation for this opening cutscene is entirely different. And that's simply because of how Yoshi's Woolly World's hub worlds are handled in the 3DS version. In the Wii U version, the hub worlds for Yoshi are all in 3D, so you can easily control what you're doing in a 3D plane. On the 3DS version of Yoshi's Woolly World, however, everything's in a 2D plane, hence why you've seen this cutscene play out in a different kind of presentation. And to me personally, I like the 3D aesthetic more from the Wii U version compared to this 2D style from the 3DS version. But this is more of a limitation of the system, so there's not much I can really do there. So it's understandable, and it's more of a personal preference which one you prefer more, but I just prefer the opening to the Wii U one a little bit more, just simply because it has a little more personality. I do love, though, that in this version here on the 3DS, Poochie also tries to help the Yoshis fight back with Kamek and tries to pull the bag off of Kamek as well. It's a nice and cute little touch. So after Kamek flies away and teleports out, Yoshi's still having an important meeting, but Poochie's also there for that important meeting. So now it's a Poochie and Yoshi meeting. At the end of this, Poochie calls out its little babies, and the babies come along with Yoshi's, helping out on their quest. The Poochie pups are here to help. You can call for their aid in mellow mode. And so, another grand Yoshi adventure begins, with also the help of Poochie in the 3DS version. But here, in the Wii U version, as you can see starting off here, we can go ahead and play as Green Yoshi, but no matter what file you pick, you can go ahead and swap over to Red Yoshi as well. So you can go ahead and swap between these two on the fly. Whenever you see a Yoshi in the field, just press A over them, and you'll swap to that said Yoshi. You can go ahead and move around with the stick or the D-pad in the hub, and if you hold the B button, you can run even faster as well. So let's just go ahead and jump into World 1. So over here is our first level, 1-1. Yarn Yoshi takes shape. Let's go ahead and start. So jumping right on into our first level here, you can already see just how gorgeous this game looks. I want to go ahead and get that out of the way right now. The art style choice for this game looks really good. The art aesthetic, this just looks very realistic in my opinion. It's very well crafted. And Goodfield does pretty good with their games overall in terms of graphics. They've started off with Kirby's Epic Yarn on the Wii, and that looks really nice and holds up pretty well today. And they made this game here on the Wii U and 3DS, which the Wii U version definitely does look better, but that's just mainly because it plays in an HD resolution. Compared to the 3DS, it's very tiny resolution. It's like a little better than 240p technically, while this is 720p. So there's a major difference there, but outside of the resolution thing, the game looks great no matter what platform you do play on. Fun fact though about the 3DS version in particular, depending what model of 3DS you're playing, the game runs in different frame rate. If you're playing on a standard model 3DS, 3DS XL, or 2DS, the game will run in 30 frames per second. But if you play on a new 3DS, new 3DS XL, or a new 2DS, then the game will play in 60 frames per second. So depending if you have the original model 3DS units or a new 3DS variant, the game does run slightly different. but that's really your only difference in terms of graphical quality with the game on 3DS. The Wii U version, it runs in a good solid 720p, 60 frames per second. You don't have to worry about any weird oddball resolutions or frame rates here. It's really just a handheld thing, but that's just the whole issue with the standard 3DS, new 3DS thing in general, but that's kind of going off topic. Let's go ahead and talk more about this game here in particular. This game controls really well. If you played Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo, this game basically controls just like how that did. So you can go ahead and use your tongue here as Yoshi. You can go ahead and do flutter jumps. You can make up to 6 eggs here, which are yarn balls in this game. You have these checkpoints here, which are just these little dandelion posts. You run into them, and any enemies nearby will turn into hearts. You can hold up to a maximum of 20 hearts in the game, which is your health. And I'm going to be going for 100% in this game, so that means I need to have every single collectible, which includes hearts, to beat this level. It doesn't really unlock anything. In fact, the only real collectibles you need to worry about if you want to 100% the game in terms of unlocking is need to worry about the flowers and need to worry about the wool. So the flowers, you want to go ahead and collect those because they will unlock extra levels. The yarn balls, you want to go ahead and collect all those because they will unlock more Yoshis for you to use in the game. So that's pretty much the only things you really need to collect. There are other 2 things in the game you can go ahead and collect too. You've already seen one of them, which is related to our health, the hearts. You can hold up to 20 of them, and that's your collectible. Once you're down to 0, you will die, so you gotta be very careful. If you do die, there are no lives in this game, but you do get sent back to the last checkpoint that you hit, so you do want to be careful there, because if you are sent back to your last checkpoint, then you're gonna have to redo a whole bunch of stuff, which includes all the collectibles that you got along the way. So you don't want to lose those collectibles. Do your very best not to game over in this game. And by that I mean die. There really is no game over here. But it might as well feel like one if you gotta redo all your progress, including getting collectibles. Yeah, it's very punishing. But that's really the hardest part about this game, to be honest, is really just getting sent back to your last checkpoint, which means you lose all those things you collected. Our final thing of a collectible here, which we just got all 20 of them, are the Miiverse stamps. Now, Miiverse stamps have no purpose at all anymore, honestly. If you were playing the Wii U version of the game, back in the day, the Miiverse stamps would allow you to get these little stamps that you can use for Miiverse posts within the game itself. Since Miiverse was shut down, Miiverse stamps in any game at all are completely useless, including Yoshi's Woolly World. If you collect all the stamps now, it's really just for bragging rights, so unfortunately, I'm going to be going for all the stamps, which really have no purpose for me at all. If you collect every single collectible in a stage, which means you get 4 stars in a stage, you'll get your course clear 100% dance, and I like this dance. Yoshi's very happy when he gets all the collectibles in the stage. We also got a bonus game at the end of this stage, which means we can go ahead and get ourselves some more points, which is good to just get us more beads. I'll go over what the use of beads are once we're done with this game, but beads are basically a currency in Yoshi's Woolly World. So we're going to want to go ahead and collect all these pieces of fruit to get as many points as we can. We want to grab the watermelon because it's worth 300 points, as you just kind of saw there. I would say you would easily saw it, but we collected so many other things at once, the points kind of got jumbled together. We did pretty good there. At the end of the bonus game, we got over 4,000 points, which is pretty good. Now we have almost 6,000 beads. That's a lot just for playing one level in the game. Pretty proud of that, to be honest. So there you go. That's level 1 cleared. Very simple level, but it's basically supposed to be your tutorial level. There was a bunch of blocks around the level, which I was hitting, just basically to teach you pretty much what you're supposed to do in the game. But now we got ourselves a power badge. So let's just skip courses, only if you're in mellow mode though. This is pretty broken if you want to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it here in a moment. So we're going to have this happen first, where we collected all 5 pieces of yarn in our first stage. And because of that, we knitted back a Yoshi. Flower Yoshi. And now because of that, the Yoshi hut just appeared over in Craft Island. So, first off, we have another line completed to build up our next stage, which is where we're going to be going here in just a moment, but let me go ahead and make my way back to Craft Island. So for starters, this is what just unlocked, the Yoshi hut. If we enter the Yoshi hut, we'll have a selection of the different Yoshis that we unlocked in the game. So this is a place you can easily go and just mess around with your different Yoshis you have, and as you can see, There's a lot of Yoshis in this game. There is a lot of them. So throughout our adventure, we're going to be finding a whole bunch of these guys. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and actually swap over to the red Yoshi. As you can see there was a little amiibo logo, so you can go ahead and save data to an amiibo with your Yoshi. And there's also other things you can do with the amiibos later on. I'll be going over that stuff in a later date, but for now, let's go ahead and make our way back to World 1. I'm actually going to go ahead and swap over to Mellow Mode here. So, let's go ahead and switch modes. As you can see, we are now in Mellow Mode. So I'm actually going back into Course 1 real quick. And this feels weird to do this soon, but I really want to show how Mellow Mode here works real fast, because Mellow Mode is pretty broken. Not gonna lie, this is a very broken mode. Mellow Mode in general in this game is the easy mode, allowing you to go ahead and fly around very easily. You start off with 20 hearts in every stage, so the second you start a stage, you already have the 20 out of 20 hearts you need in order to 100% complete the stage, which is insane to think about already. But the big thing is, if you were playing the 3DS version of this game, Mellow Mode is even more broken there. In the 3DS version of this game, not only do you have the extra floating ability because of your wings, but you have 3 little Poochie dogs following you at all times, which are your eggs in the game. So, in the Mellow Mode on 3DS, you can go ahead and have an infinite supply of eggs. And these dogs are extremely powerful. Not only do they work like a normal egg, but they also home in on hidden collectibles for you to find too. So you notice when we played the first level, there were these hidden clouds that we can go ahead and hit. And those hidden clouds would unlock a whole bunch of stuff for us here to do. It would either give us a hidden collectible that we need to go ahead and grab, or maybe even an area that we need to advance in the level that we need to hit the cloud to activate. These dogs are just extremely broken. If you don't want to use them, you can go ahead and turn them off by tapping the bottom screen, but it's insane. It is seriously insane with how broken these guys are. One last thing I want to go ahead and show off here in Mellow Mode before we swap back to the classic mode of the game is I want to show that power badge we unlocked after we beat level 1-1. So if we head over here to level 1-2, we can go ahead and use the Clear the Course badge. It costs 2,000 Bs to use, but if you go ahead and buy the badge here, you can go ahead and immediately skip a level. If you find this level to be too difficult and you don't want to play it anymore, you just want to go ahead and move on to the next level in the game, you can go ahead and use this Clear the Course badge, which will skip out on this level entirely. It is extremely broken, and in fact, the speedruns for Yoshi's Woolly World basically just grind beads in order to buy as many Clear the Course badges as they can to go ahead and just skip courses in the game in general. But we're not going to be doing that for this playthrough at all. I wanted to go ahead and at least demonstrate it here because it is very broken and you still get the power badge for clearing a course. You just basically skip the entire thing for only 2,000 beads. It's really insane. But now that we've shown off what Mellow Mode can do in this game and we cleared our first course here in Yoshi's Woolly World, I'm actually going to go ahead and end it off there. There was a lot of introductory stuff here, but trust me, the pace of this game definitely picks up here, starting in the next level. So with that said, next time on Let's Play Yoshi's Woolly World, we'll continue exploring World 1 here by actually playing Level 1-2 this time. We're not skipping it, we're actually going to go ahead and play through the level as intended. I'll see you guys next time.